Hello and welcome to episode 11 of our Timberborn 1.0 full release playthrough with the Folktales faction on the Down the Plug Hole map, Cycle 16, Day 1, where as of the end of the last episode, we have successfully diverted all of the regular water sources on the map, unless there's one hiding. And I'm also not going to count this because it doesn't actually go anywhere where it's going to be a threat, but at some point I would like to get that contained. But we no longer have to worry. This is just left over from us not having it finished in time for the last bad tide. We no longer have to worry about basically any bad water coming through here under normal circumstances. It is still possible for bad water to come through here and make its way around this way, but I got a plan for that involving rebuilding the dam and based on a couple of suggestions I really liked in the comments, maybe putting in a kind of a sewer setup where bad water, as it comes through this area, is put on a lower level, shunted off the side of the map like this, and then we could possibly even use this for good water storage, depending on how we want to play things, because all of our water sources on this side of the map are bad water sources. Way down here, that's a normal bad water source. Over here is a normal bad water source, and over here is a bad water seep that is not connected to anything. But don't forget, I say anticlimactically, look at these. These are all aquifers, and we can put pumps on those. So we got 4 there, we got 1 there, we've got 1 here, and then of course this is our dam and all that. But we do have the ability, if we felt so inclined, to actually get some fresh water coming back here and turn this into a big reservoir for clean water and just keep it completely separated. So, I like that idea. I think that's worth pursuing. There are some things we would have to do in order to make that viable, and we can explore those at some point in time in the future. But I did want to put that out there so you guys have that idea. If you have any thoughts on that, I would love to hear them. But we need to do something about this. We have a zipline station that goes down into the poison, and that's not going to get any better until we have a drought. So, unfortunately, there's not much we can do about this unless we want to have beavers get contaminated again, which we did technically have a solution for by putting in a paper mill in a very stupid location and turning on an herbalist here. So, it works, yes, but it's not the ideal solution. And it won't be the last one that we do. But for now, we do kind of need to do something better. So, we have all these different areas with zip lines, and there are things we could be doing, like growing additional trees or having farms flung way off in the corner somewhere, or in the case of areas like this that have some power, some more production stuff. And I did say that I wanted this to be turned into kind of a plank factory, wood workshop area where we can make regular planks and treated planks, because we will need those when we get to the end of the game and set off the Earth Recultivator. And I kind of have like a dumb solution going right now. It is what it is. But we'll figure out better solutions for things. Today I would like to maybe clean up some pathing things, start the process of building some outposts in other spots on the map, and then, depending on how things go, maybe get some beavers over into these areas to start putting caps on these bad tide sources. Or bad water sources, not bad tide sources. There's only 2 of those, and they're right here. But we do need to be careful that we don't completely eliminate bad water, because we do still need bad water to be able to do a whole bunch of stuff. And right now we can't really do it because somebody put a bad water pump here and thought that would be better. That was, of course, before this thing turned on, which I did not know was actually there. So I know I just deleted this from being right here, but we have to have a bad water pump somewhere, folks. I'm just going to put this right back in. I know it's going to be okay. I know it's frustrating, but that's the way it goes. Just go right back to the way things were before. And they won't be able to pump from this forever, but I do still need to be able to make stuff, because we're going to need quite a bit to do what I think we want to be doing. Keep in mind we can also do bots. We haven't gotten to that. And there is a recipe that requires extract for catalyst. Outside of that, the folktales don't really use that much extract. I mean, I know it does go into stuff like the Agora, because I guess they, you know, light it on fire and get some sort of effects from that, and then it goes into the detailer. And outside of that, I mean, you can get by without it, unless you really want to do bots, you want to have the catalyst for them, but it's fine. Don't need to really worry about it that much. Let's get going on some other stuff here, because there are still some things I want to do in this area, but it's annoying to see at night. There we go. So we got a station here. We got a lot of not trees because we cut them down. And this gets diverted as badwater, so some of these will die during a bad tide. But in the meantime, we do have a pretty decent location to be planting and growing plenty of trees. This is just a decent place to put a forester. It's not the perfect one. Very much it's not the perfect one. But I think I can improve it slightly by putting a staircase there and actually flipping this over. I should have put that down in the first place. That's going to give me access to most of this area, which I will plant as oak trees, because long enough timeline, that is what you want, even if it does take 30 days to grow. I know there's people that don't like that, but I don't want to be bothered trying to babysit a bunch of different types of trees. We'll just set it and forget it. And then these guys can just cut everything else down. I think that is... Well, until the other staircase isn't put in, this can't do much of anything at all. It also doesn't have to stay in this spot, so that can be moved. But I do need to make sure this is all marked for cutting. It pretty much is, minus a couple that I forgot. It's also hard to see until the trees are planted, but that should keep them a little busy for some time. Another thing that needs to happen near zipline stations is we need to, at the very least, have some sort of storage for water and a type of food. Now, I don't really have great places for that necessarily, but I'm going to put in just a tiny tank so these guys can have some sort of drink they can get without having to go all the way back to the main area. And then I'll put a single small warehouse for a simple type of food that we have a lot of. Currently, looking like a good candidate could be one of these wheat-based things. Bread or cattail crackers, because I know we've got a lot of flour. We've got cattail flour, cattail roots. We've got actually not a lot of wheat flour. So let's do cattail crackers. There you go. That seems sufficiently for people not to want to eat it, but be fine with it if that's the only thing they've got. So I'm just going to go around to a couple more of these. And also this area here probably should have had some water to begin with, because we got beavers living here. How long they continue living here, I don't know. You guys seem to think I should, well, a few of you at least, think I should get rid of this, put in an aquifer here, and just have a whole bunch of clean water coming out and powered by these geothermal things here. We'll see what happens. They can also have some crackers. That's fine. I'm not going to commit to these being here forever, but it is probably not a bad idea. Basically anywhere we have space to just pop in one of these little setups here. It doesn't always have to be cattail crackers, you know. It could be some of these with the grilled chestnuts. But it does always have to be water. Now, why aren't you putting bigger tanks in there, you might be asking? Well, some of these maybe could benefit from having bigger tanks. But considering how this is currently set up, I think this is just fine as it is. Okay, now this guy's got nothing to do because somebody didn't mark all these trees for cutting. Well, we can safely do that now because we have the ability to actually, you know, control what we're doing. We don't have to wait for a specific goal to be taken care of. We just have to be able to get beavers in here, and we have to have somewhere to put all of the wood. So just because we can, pop in something like that right here. We've done a similar thing on this side. We haven't replanted any of these trees, but that should be happening, ideally, sometime soon. Now, I can't put these exactly where I might want them sometimes because of the location of the zip lines. But I think something like this may be good enough, depending on how we want to do things. I know there's going to be, you know, the land getting poisoned because, well, bad water's coming through here, so maybe this isn't a great spot. But we do need to have somewhere we can actually, you know, make good use of our space. And this won't all be poisoned. We could stand a better chance of actually utilizing this space appropriately if we also blocked some of it off with dam pieces. And we kind of don't need this spiral staircase to be right here. We could move that, or we could just say, you know what, it doesn't really matter, because in the end, it kind of super doesn't at all. But we can still have our fun making a little retaining thing right here. I don't know that they can actually build all this without access from this spot, so I'm going to put a platform there. This will retain nice clean water, keep this irrigated longer up here. And I guess, depending on how I want to continue going about doing this, could actually be not a bad idea to put one of those there also. And then do one of these numbers. If this is actually going to be, you know, actually clean. How do I want to go about doing this? Because maybe I don't want to put this here. I can also, we haven't done this yet, but I can put in contamination barriers to try and keep this clean. I just don't know, man. Oh, I need to play with the folktales more. I do it like once per update, and that's basically it. Because I know the Iron Teeth one, the irrigation barrier, stops everything from coming through. This one just filters it. So you can still use this in an area that receives irrigation that is, we'll say, partially contaminated. It's just going to irrigate less, and it's going to have none of the contamination until it gets to that threshold where it switches over, and then is completely, for the purpose of irrigation, completely contaminated. I think that's about halfway. So lots to think about, and I'm probably, honestly, overthinking it. But we do need to really make sure we've got plenty of trees. So, for lack of a better thing to do right now, I'm just going to put this down here. I'm going to have these all set up as oak trees once again. I don't think there's anywhere else I can put stuff here. And I know I can have some up here. We'll just let those guys do what they got to do. Should not have pushed that button. And I've already put a couple with grilled chestnuts. I put some with cattail crackers. We actually don't have a lot of storage for grilled spatterdock, so that's probably not a bad thing to put some of these. And then this comes around here. I haven't really decided what is going to happen in this spot, but we do have a thing here for a mine. We just don't have a convenient power source nearby. Doesn't mean we can't put one here, but I think if there's another one of these besides that one that actually has power, I don't know. This would be the closest one that would actually kind of have power, and we do have a water tank here. Because this has come up multiple times, there is a reserve pile of planks. It is not exactly easy to get to, which is why I kind of didn't bother with it. But it is here. Like, I do know this is here, I don't think this is worth our time and effort to get to this exactly yet, without cutting these trees down first. But it is there. Outside of that, we got this space they're working on. I mean, the diversion's pretty much taken care of, so I don't think we really need to worry about it that much. Could probably stand out some better zipline pathing. I know we've talked about that a couple of times. But this area here, and I said it last time, it really needs help. It is pretty bad. So, perhaps it would be best for us to try and focus the rest of today on trying to redo this, set up some sort of vaguely not nonsensical setup, make some more power with the water wheels, because we can just generally push more clean water through here, especially now that this pretty much can't ever be contaminated, except for very, very, very bad things happening. We do still want some to come through here so we can, you know, keep this irrigated, but I don't think it's a bad idea for us to have this set to, say, 2.2. How's that going to increase our flow here? So we don't want it to stop coming this way. But if we can get a little bit more going through these wheels consistently, then we might be in business. Now, there's also a couple other ways to do that. We could, of course, come up here and pop in an aquifer pump right there. Maybe we should. You know, well, we do have the option. I can research it. It's only 400 science, and we have 40,000. So, it takes 400 HP, which is the entire output of that thing. So, I made a comment in the last video about beaver HOAs, and I guess all the non-Americans are like, why in the world would you do that to yourselves? Like, look, we ask ourselves the same question. I don't think anybody likes those, but I digress. I need to get this set up to go over the path. And just like that. Come over here with a geothermal engine. And then hook this up right like so. They currently cannot get down into here, but fear not, for we have stairs. And that will help us get quite a lot more clean water coming through. And permanently, well, kind of increase the flow through these. Now, these are actually making a decent bit of power now, but it needs to be more consistent. So I guess we get to decide if we want to modify the channel at all, because I don't have a dirt excavator yet. If there is a place on this map where I would put a dirt excavator, I'm not entirely sure what that would be. But I do know I would probably want it to be in one of these types of places that has basically no chance of ever getting contaminated. So I could, you know, theoretically, put one in a place like this. And it would actually directly... Look at that. Look at that. That would actually directly connect very nicely. And even though it's, you know, it still takes 200 HP and that aquifer pump takes 400, it would only ever be running at, what, 66% efficiency. We can still do it. And you wouldn't be able to see the hole most of the time because it would be in the water. So, why not? Why not? Underground pile for dirt is not going to work unless I have dirt to put here, so we are going to have to wait just a little bit on that. But I am not afraid of waiting, obviously. The quite frankly ridiculous amount of time I spend waiting on some of these projects really should not be a thing to worry about. But yeah, I'm going to get that started. It's not going to be a perfect thing, no, but I'm going to get it started so we have something. And then maybe we decide, all right, how are we going to rip this out? How do we want to rechannelize this? We can use dynamite, we can use tunnels, we can use all these things to kind of reshape this area, especially since, you know, there's not really any bad water going to come through here. Ideally, assuming that we can get this fixed. And how are we looking for these things? Those are all built. That's working okay. Getting trees planted. Do we need to keep beavers in these jobs all the time? No. I did want to acknowledge a comment that I got that, you know, I really don't agree with, but I appreciate the perspective, and I'm glad you left this comment. I forget what your name was, but it was something to the effect of, you have way too many beavers. We have 89 beavers right now. I almost never have a playthrough with this few beavers. I usually finish with several hundred. I've finished a couple playthroughs with 400 or 500 beavers. And I'm currently, yes, this is still happening. It just takes an unbelievable amount of time. But I'm currently working on a series with 1,000 beavers on diorama because I'm insane. So I never play with a tiny amount of beavers. I think we have way too few beavers for what I want to do. But the argument they made in their comment actually makes sense. Take a look at what they're saying is that we're kind of being really inefficient with how we're set up. And we haven't automated a lot of the resources. which in fairness to me was not a thing until 3 weeks ago, when I found out at the same time everybody else did. But I think there is some room to improve how we have this set up to where we don't need to have a ton of beavers. I believe the number they gave was no more than 60. You could do basically everything you want. And I don't normally play like that. I'm not going to say it's wrong because, you know, it's a game you can play how you want to play, and that's just not really the way I want to do it. But I do think it would be nice to try and optimize what we've got before we make a huge population jump. So, seeing that, I do want to see... Okay, we're waiting on... metal blocks. And I am making those still, right? Yes, but I don't have scrap metal. Okay, so I do need to get some scrap metal. How could I have forgotten about scrap metal? Why don't I just pop one of these here? Just a nice, simple setup. They can grab a bunch of these. There was a request in one of the comments to kind of leave some of these standing as like a monument to the past humanity or whatever. We're probably not ever going to get rid of all of these. And we probably do need to use mines at some point. Maybe. But, oh, I didn't think that was actually going to fit because we had the ziplines. Well, the more you know. I'm going to take these lumberjack flags out because, well, they have nothing to do. And there's also this one here, and there's this one here. So that's going to help solve some of our labor problems. Not saying we're never going to do anything over here again. It's just, for the time being, no reason to really worry about it that much. This guy's got some room to plant some more trees. I do think there's maybe some room to have another one of these up here. Not entirely sure, and for the record, I'm not exactly committed to having every square inch of this thing developed, because you just don't need to do that all the time. But I do like the different ideas you guys are giving me. It's given me some ideas, because that's how that works, right? But the Dray Excavator, hopefully, will get its last metal block sometime soon. Then we'll have some way to actually get those stored when that big underground storage pile gets made. And then, oh, there it goes. All right. Yep, 67%. So it's going to be a little slow, especially when they just they show up to work, hit the start button, and then hit the stop button and go home. Yeah, that certainly is a way to do a day at work. But we need to focus on getting this area kind of taken care of here. Now, I don't ever play like this. I tend not to like doing it, but I figure I can throw you guys a bone every once in a while. I'm going to tunnel underneath these pillars so that it just removes all of the dirt just as soon as I get rid of this. Oh, it's not going to let me with the shift delete. So you see what happens there is all of the dirt goes bye-bye if you tunnel in the right spots because it doesn't have any more support. So yes, in real life, if the beavers were real, well, beavers are real, it's just these aren't, as far as we know. Maybe somewhere up in the Great White North there's a whole bunch of sentient beavers or something that are doing stuff like this. But you can actually do this in real life, and I know that there's a method for land clearing that involves blasting out holes underneath stuff and then everything else collapses. I just never really liked to do it because I was so used to doing it the old way. But times change, strategies evolve. Doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, it's just different. So there you go. Don't know how many times I'll be doing that in the future, but figured I could do it at least this once. Gonna get that blown up, which actually, before they commit to doing that, I know there's the explosive already there. This is on level 2. It can technically go down. I don't know that I want it to. I think the way this is set up now, honestly, is pretty good. So what I think I'm going to do, 3 wide might be a little too wide, so instead we're going to go 2 wide. And that requires 2 wheels wide. Requires 4 of these. So what I will do before things get too crazy maybe one of these numbers here. Get rid of that. Get them to just build something. Hopefully these guys don't get silly-billied, because you know how that always works. But we're starting to make dirt. And we do have the ability to, you know, kind of push back a little bit on some of this. And eventually redesign this to have a complete set of water wheels and then wind turbines on the other side. Which I guess I could start doing over here. We also have large wind turbines we haven't researched. And those can be placed exactly the same as these other ones. I think for now this is probably okay to just do it like this on this side and just not worry about it. My main goal here is to make sure these guys don't get stuck, because that would be just extremely annoying. I'm going to pause that one just in case, because I know they're going to want to come over here to grab these logs before they completely go away. Yeah, and they're going to want to come in here to actually build the rest of these. So maybe what I should do instead, I'm going to... I always feel like doing this is like going to war with the game, because it never works the way I want it to. But if I can get these two done, then they can't actually walk down here on the bottom, and they can just do it from above. But you have to be able to... Oh, no, no, no. No, no, no. You don't want... Oh, don't make me do this again, game. Don't make me do this again. You got to get out of there. You got to get out of there. You cannot... Where are you... Okay, where are you going? Where are you going? Are you going back through here? If you're going back through here, we're going to have a bad time. Are you going back through here? No. Okay. Good. Problem solved. Now I don't have to worry about that quite as much. That is a little nerve-wracking. But now I have an opportunity to kind of let that happen at the same time that's happening on this other side too. And I guess just trying to channel the water in the right spot as things continue would not be a bad idea. I'm not saying this entire thing has to be, you know, separated like this, but I do want it to be a straight channel, and I need them to be able to get down here. So that's going to require that I put in... Maybe I'll offset this one so I can still get to these other tiles, just in case I need to for some reason. There we go. Get that connected there. And just let this kind of naturally do what it's supposed to be doing. I do like that we're getting more water through here now. At the 2.2 height, that seems fine. In the unlikely event that this does become contaminated, then this will activate. That's all well and good. We've got trees growing here. I planted some other ones over here that are going quite well. You know what I didn't do, though, is I didn't put another one of these lumberjack flags back in. Yeah, right here is probably fine. Just put that there. I don't exactly have a good storage, so why don't we use some of our dirt and just put another underground pile here, because that's, well, it's the best strategy I can come up with. It would be really great if we had a drought this cycle, so I could mess with that thing over here. Ask and you shall receive. So that's good. I'm glad that happened. We will, of course, have to continue monitoring exactly what ends up happening over here, but I think, you know, we don't have any... well, actually, this faction doesn't have those at all. We don't have any badwater discharges, so there's not going to be any bad water whatsoever coming out during a drought. That is going to be our best opportunity to go over and put in the kind of setup I was talking about. I actually don't remember if I mentioned it in the beginning of the episode or not, so I guess we'll just, whether I said it or not, I'll still explain it when we get over there. But for now, we are doing about as good as I could reasonably expect. Still doing stuff here. Yeah, this is just such a over here that it's not really worth getting mad about, because we can all see what's happening. Amount of bad water also an issue. Well, that's something we can discuss when the time comes. So for now, I think what's going to make the most sense is put in a couple more pieces of path here. And then I'm going to actually time-lapse the rest of this pre-drought thing so they can get the rest of this dirt in. And we can honestly just get a little bit of stuff taken care of before we dive into the rest of what I want to do during the drought. So we'll check back in just a little bit and see what these beavers got accomplished. Alright, so they managed to get a decent bit of this finished. They're still going to be working on it, but now that it's a drought, this is the only chance we're going to have for a while to come over here and finally fix this flooding issue. So, someone left a comment that I really liked, and that was talking about using the detonator, which is this thing right here, to automatically set off the dynamite as soon as something overflows a specific area. Just link it with a depth sensor or something. I really like that idea. I think that's fun. But it has to be placed onto dynamite, which means I have to have somewhere for that dynamite to go that the beavers can get to without getting poisoned. Fortunately, we have a 5-day drought, which means there's no more bad water coming, and there's honestly not that much left in here. So I'm going to get that triple speed just for a moment. Get stuff flowing through here so I can actually, you know, send beavers down into this nonsense, which shouldn't take too much longer. You can already see that it's starting to really slow down. And of course, that's all going to drain down this side and out the side of the map. And that has dried up perfectly. Let's hit pause because I want to make sure I have time to do this. So the problem we're having is there's too much flow through here now, especially when this is on during a bad tide, because now we have source here, and source here. So we need to widen or deepen how this is set up. Probably the easiest thing to do with the limited resources we do have is to come in here and deepen this by 1 block, deepen this, because, you know, I can't really get rid of this easily, by 2 blocks. And then that would reach out to the bottom of this thing and this thing. Get these connected, which probably is going to be easiest. See, I don't want the beavers to get poisoned in here. I also have to make sure I can actually build this in 5 days. I know it says we have 17 vacancies. Some of those are currently assigned to hauling posts and builders' huts, which means we're not going to have quite as many as I think we might need. But best I can do at this exact moment in time is probably just to do this all the way through here. I can't do it on this side because, well, there's stuff in the way. And then to kind of help this along, I can also, yeah, I can tunnel here just to widen this a tiny bit, try to get stuff in this side, and then I can get that done. And then I am going to remove this badwater pump and put this in a slightly different location because I think this needs more depth in this immediate area. I get this to be a double. And then this honestly is not really doing enough for it to be that big of an issue. But I do need to get these guys taken out at some point. This isn't currently doing anything. That can be a double, which does put 5 planks down here, but I'm not going to worry about it. We can't spend our time worrying about that kind of stuff. Get this done here, get this done here, and then this is also going to be a double. Well, that's the kind of thing we can, to a certain extent, do from above. One of the issues we're going to run into is not all of these are going to go off at the same time because they're at different heights. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a thing. So we will need to maybe be a little careful about this. If I had more than 5 days, I would send some beavers down here and tunnel all of this out. But I don't think that's going to happen. And I'm pretty sure most of our problem was this was not sufficient depth or width to channel all of this down here. Remember that water folding isn't really a thing anymore? To a certain extent, I guess it is, but this is about, for right now, it's about the best I can do. So we are going to need to get these guys in here before I hit unpause. So, we have dynamite available. We've got extract available. It's all right here. But we need to examine where these beavers are working. I got 6 in the hauling post. That's fine. Let's actually just click on this because we have access to it. fully staffed, except for that one. And it looks like... Okay, this one has nobody in it. It's fine, I guess. This says no available workers. Which one is this? Okay, well, that's deprioritized anyway. That's fine. What about this one? I'm going to say deprioritize. That one we should not deprioritize. This one's fine. These just got planted, so we can slightly deprioritize those. Yeah, there's basically nothing going on over here right now, but I might want it later. Same kind of deal. And then this one is also not something we need to worry about. So that should, in theory, redirect some of these guys to this other hauling post, which is... where? I know I've got this at 6. Where in the world did I put that? Oh, it's right here. Alright, well, how you solve that problem is you make it normal priority, and then after it's full, you reduce the priority. We have builders. We've got one builder. Nobody, nobody. I'm going to say let's cap this one at 6 also. Not that we really need to have a ton more than 10 or 12 haulers in the first place over here. But I do need to make sure we got beavers working on this as earnestly as they can. Now, I know they can't get across here yet. So I'm going to have to forgo that thing being there, and instead... easiest thing to do is just going to be to put a bridge here. Make that a priority, and then I need to make sure that these in here, these 3, 5, and that are the absolute highest priority, because this is going to be what basically makes this whole idea sink or swim. I just need this immediate area to be taken care of. So that is going to have to be what happens there. And yes, eventually, if they can get all of this done in the next 4.5 days, I could put additional tunnels underneath this, because we do have stuff to support up here. And when the dam is eventually rebuilt, then this will be covered up. I just don't exactly have a plan for that yet. Honestly, it's not going to be that hard. I can just follow this gradient thing. But I would like to, you know, make it kind of look nice. They can build some of this from above. We do know that. But again, I need to be careful of keeping everything intact. Oh, that didn't need to be a tunnel. Why am I... No. No. We don't need that. I can just make this a triple. That's much easier. Anyway, that was the wrong button. I'm just going to have to let these guys, you know, time-lapse this a little bit. Get this stuff popped in, and whenever they're done, or whenever the drought is about to end, whatever comes first, then I'll talk about hooking up a detonator to it, which can then automatically go off whenever the level gets too high. I think that's going to be the best system, to, you know, incorporate your suggestions and maybe do something that's a little fun too. So we'll talk in just a bit and see what these guys got done. Okay, mistakes have been made. First of all, I forgot there's thorns in the way, and the beavers aren't going to want to come through here to get to these dynamite pieces. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to have all of this done. And I foolishly made this a triple dynamite when I should have made it a single, just so I could get to the rest of this stuff. And man, I am a little not happy about that. But let's not forget, we have technology. We're not cavemen. I can also just do this. So that's, I guess, what we're going to do. But since I said I was going to do it, and I have not yet done it, and we only have half a day, plus whatever time it takes for these things to recharge up here, I want to go ahead and get these detonators in place, which is this one right here. Let's unlock it. And I just need to have a couple of these in various locations. So I'm going to put one there, and I guess I can do probably some of these closest ones. I guess here and here. So should I really have made 5 of these? Probably not. Oh, I actually need 6. Okay, so admittedly, this has not been designed well. But this is more of a, a proof of concept thing than anything else. I want these to go off when the badwater level reaches a certain point. That point, for me, would be... I guess I could just put contamination sensor. That's already unlocked. Depth sensor... Ironically, it's going to be cheaper for us to build the contamination sensor because I don't have as many pieces of scrap metal. But if I just put this, say, literally anywhere over here, can't put it above that. All right. Let's do this because they can build this from above. When this contamination sensor turns on, I want these detonators to go off. As in turn on and then explode. Language is weird. But I'm going to let them build every scrap of this before it becomes a thing. Maybe I need to have this thing of thorns demolished. Because I do need to get these other things in here. No, it's already too late. Well, it is what it is. They're going to come back tomorrow in-game and do that, and then I have these other things right here. I just need to make sure this is all set up as best as I can do it. I would really love to have gotten this better situated, but, you know, sometimes that's just not the way things go. But that's all done. They're working on it. But I really, really need these to be put in. They're not going to get put in until those thorns are gone. We do still have maybe half a day before we start getting enough bad water in here to poison beavers. So who knows? Maybe this will happen fast enough. It is unfortunate you can't have more than one beaver working on an item at a time, but also that's been a fundamental thing about the game forever, so I shouldn't complain about it. Just about done. Come on. Come on. You know that bad water's coming. It's already there. Get these last couple pieces in. Okay. I'm going to extend the working hours just this once, because I really want these guys to be able to pop these in here. They just need to get the heck out of Dodge. Okay, are these done? Okay, is anybody down here who otherwise should not be down here? In fact, I don't want this to happen so much. I'm going to get that out of there. Okay. I think we're probably alright. Let's go back to 18 hours. Yeah, I do see bad water coming in. So let's, before we get too comfy, I want this to happen during daylight, so maybe I don't want this to be turned on yet. We'll call this Kaboom. It's only going to get used once, so like it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to see if this, yeah, so that detected depth. I don't want, oh, I had this set up wrong. I didn't want that to go off there. Well, that's too bad. Well, I guess now the question is this going to overflow? Because now it kind of doesn't look like it will. And I may have already solved the problem with the steps taken to prepare for the solution. Not gonna lie, that's a little disappointing. But, what did we say before? We said that we're gonna duplicate the results, even if we didn't get it in testing. So instead of the contamination sensor, which I should have immediately sniffed out as not being what I wanted, we want the depth sensor, which I know is not going to come up to here until we have another bad tide. But if this isn't overflowing now, then that's not a problem now, is it? Actually, I just thought of several ways that could be a problem. Well, you know what? We're going to do it anyway. This needs to be higher than 1.0 to turn on. And then that's going to get mapped to these detonators. I just have to remember which one of these are actually detonators. Yep. That is a dynamite. That is a path. Click on the detonator. There you go. And there we go. And then this one also has that. So, seeing how this has currently panned out, I don't think this is going to explode until such a time as we actually have a bad tide again, because the depth here... Ooh, it's actually getting kind of close. I'm going to raise this to 1.1 just so we don't have any accidents. Yeah. Because I do still have a couple of things that need to be taken care of. I'm going to get rid of that, because that needs to be a double. And then I need to take these stairs out. I think that'll still be supported, because I want this to just go straight out. And we also have, you know, all of this stuff already ready to go. Doubles there. Yeah, okay. So, ooh, we're getting dangerous. We're getting dangerous here. It is just a tiny bit over 1, and it's slowly rising. Oh, now I'm extremely nervous about this. Okay. All right. I do want this to go off. I just don't want to explode any more beavers if I don't have to. So we're gonna do the ultimate safety here. Yeah, I just need them to come in here and finish this. Oh, I can't set it off until it's actually ready to go. Oh, don't get poisoned. Don't get poisoned. Don't get poisoned. Please don't get poisoned. Then I have to fill out forms. Okay. That's that. It's done. It's over. This is flooded. No beavers are feeling unwell. This is at 1.11. 1.11. I'm going to set this to 1.15. And we are going to, if I can manage it, because I want to see all of this happen in real time. But I also need to be able to see what's happening here. Okay. Lag. And by lag, I mean, oh no, I'm only getting 120 FPS instead of 350. We are going to see if this gets to 1.15 and detonates all these things. I may have to lower it if this never gets to that point. But I want to see this go off because I think this is such a fun idea. Oh, I saw 1.13 show up. I also can't sit here the entire day doing this. Oh, I wish I could do this any other way, but I think I'm going to have this go back down to 1.10 and then explode. So that should have detonated this entire area over here. I know this is very full on this side, but it should... Ah, see, now it says 2.1 because the ground got deeper under it. Alright. Oh, it's activated again, but there's nothing else to explode. Is this going to go down at all, or have we not done an adequate solution here? Now, how in the world did I... I forgot to turn that one on. That's such a disappointment. Oh well. So now I guess we'll just fast speed this. See if this is going to dry up. It looks like it kind of is. That, you know, that is low. Look how fast this is going. Man, I wonder what the flow rate is on this. I unfortunately cannot build this here. But in the middle at least. 350-ish coming through here. Wow, look at that. 635. 775. Yeah, okay. Wouldn't be a bad idea for power generation. But anyway, I kind of proved what I wanted to prove here, and that this worked. That was a fun idea. I'm sorry I kind of messed it up, but now we can actually, since we have a zipline station here, have this reconnected. We could also maybe, you know, move it a little bit. I do want to get rid of these brambles around here, and I guess just all of this. I'd like to move these things back so we can actually have a couple pumps and then use some power and do some refining and everything down here. Because I think that would be a better use of our resources. Especially time. But they're going to have to take care of that. Fortunately, we have a lot of beavers who can, you know, actually do something here. Get that out of there, get these things all cleaned up. I am going to have to rebuild a zipline station before I tear this one down, because there is currently no other way of getting down here. But the tank can go. That can get moved somewhere else. I do technically have a spot back here. Ah, not quite. Not quite. I can put this here, though. That seems fine. That can be for, I guess, I'll need one for extract. I'll need one for all this other stuff. Because I do want to put one here, I suppose. Just be for bad water. I didn't say it was going to be a, you know, a beautiful solution. I just said it was going to be a solution. Now we're going to have a ton of power coming through here, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in the perfect spot. That is going to be about good enough. Like, we're not going to need nearly this much. Not even close. That is definitely not enough. What is the, does the centrifuge require 200? Okay. Is this the optimal solution? No, it's definitely not. But it is a solution that is not complete garbage. So I suppose, seeing that, I do need a place to actually directly connect to a centrifuge, and I kind of want it to be close enough to one of these where it's not going to be an issue. They can build that from above without issue, and they can have that come up from below. I can offset this one block here to be a centrifuge, which means that building is going to come out to here, which means I can then put in a pump here. Straight line, eh. But this will do about what we want it to do. I just need that to be removed, and then I need to build another zipline station, which I think for the convenience of what we're trying to do makes the most sense to put right here. And that should still be in range to this, and it is. We can actually go ahead and connect it and have no issues. We just have to have that finished first. And then we just have to be able to, you know, actually get beavers in here. But I am glad we finally did this. Even if, you know, this is objectively not the best order of operations, so to speak. I'm pretty happy with most of what's happened here. Now that this is a priority, we'll get that put in place. I don't think we need this depth sensor here. Unless there's some other thing I could have maybe thought to do with it, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. I just need them to come down here, get rid of these things, build this thing so I can get rid of this thing and build other things in different spots and then not worry about it ever again. I probably should figure out if I want to have any more power down here for any reason, but I think the centrifuge, just one of those, is going to be fine. I can always redo the area later if I want to. Every hour we will get slightly more than one piece of extract, one unit of extract. Maybe we want more. Maybe I should plan for more. I think definitely I should plan for more. But if I'm going to do that, then I'm going to have to completely rethink this. Let's take a second. Let's just take a second, because I can do the same kind of thing basically anywhere else. If I want to future-proof this, that's the right thing to do. I can put one here, I can put one here, and then I have space technically for 2 pumps, but it's not going to look Not going to look very good. Yeah, so I don't want to, I don't want to necessarily commit to doing something, really dumb. Well, honestly, this is all kind of really dumb. It is what it is. Can I squeeze this in here? I got one here. And if I want another one over here and I rotate it, oh, let's see, that's not gonna fit unless I put it here. Well, you know, now that I've, you know, kind of firmly committed to the stupid path, that would go here. Yeah, it would have to be in that exact spot because of the clearance issues, and then I have to be able to get back in here. Well, I do not like what I've done with this. Well, this is the part where if you think it sucks, then let me know, and then I guess we can maybe redo it at some point, but I just need this to work, so I'm going to blast that out. I'm going to build a path through here. I just need them to finish this thing so I can get rid of this. That's going to make the rest of this all come together, but I will put in 2 centrifuges right here. I think that's going to be the easiest way to do it, even though these are not really in a great spot. Is what it is. That's done. And then put that there. Don't build that one first. Why did I have them place that first? That's going to go there. Why do you pause the game so much? Look, it's a coping mechanism, okay? Can I no? That's 4, isn't it? Yeah. I'm gonna oh, I know this is gonna irritate you guys so much. I'm going to put a tank here, probably for extract, and then I can have multiple tanks for extract. I just, to be perfectly honest, don't really know what I'm doing most of the time. And I figure it out as I go, which, you know, not a great strategy, but it's the real one that I do use. And I always promise you guys I'm going to give you the authentic experience of me playing these games. So, you get what you get, and you don't pitch a fit. Or do. I'm not your dad, but you know how this goes. So I'm going to let them finish this. And then that may be about the last thing we need to do on all of this over here. I want to get this, yeah, there we go. I want to get this at least set up where it can be usable. Because I know we still have this area over here that I said we're going to do something today, and we have not. K for kaboom. K for kaboom. K for kaboom. Alright, so now we have a channel here. While, you know, it's flowing more than this, these are still rotating decently well. I think this may... Oh, okay, cool. Not gonna lie, I was not really expecting that to be possible here. Now that I know I can do this, I'm gonna put a couple more of these, and I just need to be able to get across. So let's sacrifice... Yeah, we don't need this anymore. Let's sacrifice one of these for right now. I'll just build another staircase here because it already exists. I can put another couple here and here. Put another one of these here, but I need to be able to get this to physically build this wheel. Then these over here need to be replaced. I guess we can redesign this next episode now because I'm way beyond out of time. But I didn't want to give up on what we were doing here. So I need 3, so that means this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. Even if it's not going to generate a ton of power, I know how to fix that. Just do one of those numbers, and do one of those numbers, and suddenly, voila, you got a ton of power coming out of here, and you didn't even have to worry about it. So, paper-wise, I don't have a lot of paper coming out. I also don't have a storage for paper. Yeah, remember when I said I was going to build one of those, and then I absolutely did not? Yeah, let's not be too proud of that. I just need somewhere to put it for now. Maybe that should be the biggest priority, because I need to keep making paper. We're going to let them slowly take care of this, but I have kind of set that all up. I guess we'll just triple speed a little bit more here. I guess we can start doing the end of episode stuff, and then maybe by the end of that, something will be functional over here. I appreciate you guys watching these videos. I know, again, it's not perfect, but I think we're getting some good stuff done here. We're playing with some of the features we haven't really messed with yet, and we're laying the groundwork to making something pretty interesting for the remainder of this series. I do still want to do the raft mod. I think we're going to have to do a little bit of terraforming and a little bit of redirecting some things to make that viable. But that could be a fun thing to implement. I do see a couple people asking for other mods as well, and can't make any promises, but we'll see. We'll see what we get into. And of course, the beard boosters subsidize all of this, so I don't have to worry about sponsors or try to edit something down to 20 minutes or do brain rot content or whatever. I don't ever want to do that. So you guys make it possible for me to just say no. And just do what we want to do without having to worry about it, and I'm always going to be thankful for it, and that's why I always, at the end of every video, make sure to acknowledge the people who make that possible. Even if you're not on that list, I'm very glad you're here, and I do appreciate each and every one of you. Even if you leave comments that make me think, you know what, I'm not feeling too confident in what I'm doing here, but the fact that you watch the videos with enough criticality to recognize when I'm doing something wrong, and then you say what I'm doing wrong because I asked you to, means you're upholding the social contract of videos on this channel, and now we need to stop talking about theory and actually get back into work here. But I appreciate you, regardless of what you're saying on the videos. Let's get one of these dynamites in here, and then I can put another tank in. And then we will wrap this one up here very, very shortly. I just wanted to make sure that this was actually getting something done. I know we have to get on that. Need a little bit more metal, but we don't exactly have enough right now. Maybe we do. I can't remember if these other windmills use... Okay, they do not. Alright, so that works. Another large tank set to, I guess, extract. Seems fine. And then we can leave that alone, because that's going to be very functional very soon. Come back over here. I'm in the wrong spot. There we go. We've got stuff set up. It's just going to take some time. So that's where we're going to leave it. Once again, I appreciate you. Please always feel free. Whatever your thoughts are, just tell me what you're thinking. And I'll do my best to improve the videos based on what you guys say, as long as I think it's something that's going to work for what we're doing. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.